Sky Podcast. I am looking at NPR radio over here. Hello and welcome to the Blue Sky Podcast. I am Adeel.
And I am Jono.
And today you are going to join us as we sit down, talk a little bit, and write a script.
And just so you know, the whole podcast, we're going to do these voices. So
yes, we are.
If you don't like it, neither do we. So I'm going to stop right now.
Neither do we. Yeah, I mean, if you've tuned in before, you know what this is. If you haven't, it's basically a podcast where me and Jono sit down and we pick a prompt. Could be any kind of prompt. Usually it's a film genre. And then we write a script, a short film script. And we do it all on the episode. So it's kind of fun to see us think up of weird and out there ideas and then kind of just whittle it down to a cohesive script.
Yeah, and it'll be the first draft of a script, so it's not ever going to be perfect. And no matter how hard we try, we're not going to rewrite it and make it too fluffy. You're just going to kind of get the first go of it. So this is just about the process. It's about the fun that we have riffing weird shit together. Which
is what the Blue Sky portion of the writing process is, you know? Exactly. It's just throwing stuff at the wall. We should get a sign or something in the background eventually. And it's like a neon sign and it says like no rewrites. Because that's like one of the rules of this podcast. You cannot like be like, oh, actually, you know what? We wrote this, but it'd be smarter if the dialogue was this. No. This is about writing a first draft, getting it out there. And then, yeah, in the future, like the way you should write is you should have a first draft and then clean it up. But that's not what this podcast is.
No, and believe me, I've tried, and it doesn't feel right to deceive you. And just so you know, you're not going to hear us writing the slug lines for the locations or whatever. You're not going to hear us writing that part, but you'll get all the ideation. And then you'll hear a nice little radio drama at the end.
Yeah, we actually performed the script for you. All right. Well, now that we've introduced and kind of told you what the podcast is about, how about we go to our first segment?
First, I want to ask you a question.
Oh, okay, yeah.
How are you feeling? Are you in touch with your body today?
I feel like is it a setup for a joke? Are we doing? Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling. What would you ask me? Sorry, what's the question?
Are you feeling good? Are you in touch with your body?
I am good. I am in touch with my body.
Let's move on.
Okay.
The prompt.
Okay, so normally I've been reaching into the Forsaken Bowl of prompts, but last week was, I enjoyed the result, and Adeel drew that, so he's going to draw it again. I put in 5 prompts. I am the captain now. You are the captain now.
I am the prompt captain now.
And I put in 5 ideas, and Adeel put in 5 ideas.
Yes. I'm excited if I pull out any of mine, because I think they were pretty interesting. But hey, you usually come up with some crazy shit that leads us down an interesting and rewarding path.
Right, but it doesn't always feel like that at the beginning when my stuff comes up.
In the beginning, it hurts. And I pulled out, it's you again.
Oh, dear.
I like this. It says, and you have to explain this, please, on-set comedy horror.
Yeah, so I was thinking on the way over here.
You already have a film written in your head.
Yeah, so interior studio. No, I was just thinking about my life as a PA back before I was directing and how both of us kind of like the on-set backdrop for stuff.
Yeah.
And there's so many fun, horrific stories that PAs have to go through. It doesn't have to be a PA, but like on set, just because it's like such a weird class caste system and like, you know, there is like the call sheet's not alphabetical. Like the people at the top are the people at the top, and they are all gods and goddesses. And
there's a hierarchy.
There's a massive hierarchy. That's a more succinct way to say what I just said.
But what's interesting too is like even just like let's separate the on-set for a moment. Comedy horror is a thing where you can put it in different places. You could have wrote in a convenience store comedy horror, and it's like, oh, that's kind of fun. You could put it like in a like any world, like Shaun of the Dead. It's like this guy who works at this shitty store and then has a friend that lives at home with him. So it's like just put comedy horror, that genre, into different worlds.
For sure. But I should clarify that by horror, I didn't necessarily mean the genre, which I know is confusing and convoluted. I just meant like a horror story, like something that you went through that's awful on set.
Oh, okay.
Like, thank you. Funny. It's funny, but it's like, fuck, dude.
So it's not Shaun of the Dead.
It's not Shaun of the Dead.
It's not zombies.
It could be.
I mean, I'm open to that though.
It could be the zombie boom up.
That's fucking hilarious.
You know, that could be funny, but
or the set that's haunted or some shit.
Right, but I was just thinking more
based on like almost real kind of story.
Just like the stuff that makes you traumatize and like cringe when you remember.
Well, I already have ideas now when you just said that. So
Okay.
maybe I think we should move on to what's the next part called again? Blue sky. Okay. I like that genre. I like this idea. Hey, Jono, good job.
Thank you.
'Cause I know
I did it.
You're always very scared about your prompts.
Yeah. I need affirmation.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. Good stuff.
Thank you.
So just quickly, there's two ways, and I'm open to both right now, where it does turn into actually horror on a film set or whatever set it is, right? Commercial set, or it's like you said, it's just horror in the sense of like a cringy story of one of the people on set, right? Like we're going through a day, like a PA going through a shitty day.
Okay, so for those of you listening who don't know what a PA is, that stands for production assistant, and they are quite literally the lifeblood of the set. Adeel, I asked you earlier today if you were in touch with your body, and PAs have to be in touch with the body of the film set. They get you coffee, they pick up the gear, they return the gear, they're there before you, they're there after you, they set up lunch tables. Basically any insane request that you have or any normal request that you have is going to go through them. I've done a lot of weird, messed up stuff as a PA, like buying drugs. And I didn't get in trouble, but I could have.
Or I was thinking literally you could do the whole formula of 6 characters. So it starts with the PA getting to set and doing stuff, and then the AD comes, yells at him, and then we follow the
like passing the baton kind of thing.
The first AD then gets the story, and we follow him.
Yeah.
Then it goes to the DP, the director, ends back up at whoever it started with. Maybe it ends with them, like the PA again.
And
so,
just so everyone knows, the term slacker is an improv format where
but it's based on a film.
Oh yeah, like the Richard Linklater
yeah.
film. Really?
You think that came first?
No, I didn't know. It
Yeah.
definitely came first. I'm sure the movie for sure. But
that's what Nate told me.
I believe it.
Because that would make sense to me. Because that's
Nate,
too much of a coincidence. Nate from
Nate
Improv.
Friedman is
Nate
a credible source. Shout out Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, that makes sense because that's what that movie is. Like,
yeah.
It's just kind of
that was Richard.
a drive through Portland or whatever.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah. Some city.
Or Seattle.
Yeah. Something like that. For those any nerds who are listening, Richard Linklater's first film was Slacker.
It's great, really great movie.
And the whole film is just it's just one story, then it bleeds into another story, and it's just following characters who like meet each other.
Did you watch Mr. Show?
I've seen like sketches.
They did this awesome thing where like sketches would just flow into one another. Like a sketch would end and then someone would just like run through and be like, "Whoa!" And then you'd follow that and then you'd go into the next sketch. It was like a very seamless flow of shit.
Like every episode?
I believe so. Every
That's
episode
insane.
that I've seen.
I didn't know that. That's pretty fucking cool.
Super high level. And if we could ask the audience to put their phones and computers on silence, that would be
whoever's laptop's dinging over here.
Yeah, not mine. Is it muted? Yes.
I just muted mine. Sorry.
I just muted mine too. But no one emails me, so
I'm gonna put this prompt down so we don't forget on set.
So story time.
Okay, story time.
I'll try and make it quick. So this isn't exactly a horror story to the fullest. It's more of that sort of like, it's not like scary horror. It's that comedic horror. But one day I'm on set. It's a big job. PA who, has aspirations of directing, wants to do a really good job, wants to be known by the director, and wants to kind of be in the mix.
That is such a good character.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean...
No, but like, and as in like, I see that character on every film set. There's always a PA who's like...
I was that guy. I still am that guy.
Like the PA who, like, if our film has a PA in it, that piece of dialogue that I love is like, "Hey, do you want to watch my short film?"
Yeah.
You know, that PA?
Yeah.
Oh, that's our PA.
Yeah. I was never quite so forward, but like, I would lob my things in.
Not to hijack for a second, but like, there was a PA on my set who literally approached me and was like, so it was like his first set with me too. I was directing and producing and he was on my set. He approached me and asked me to watch his short film. And then when I said, I would love to, yeah, sure, send it to me. And he goes, well, on lunch, do you want to watch it?
No.
And I was like, dude, how do I think and the thing is this, right? I respect the hustle, but I think of myself and I'm like, I would never have the balls to go to a director on set in the middle of a shoot and be like, yes, this is a short film, finish your story, right? And then like finish the pitch, and then the guy's like, yeah, sure, I'll watch it. And then be like, on break, what are you doing on lunch? It's like...
Just like staring at you deadpan, like,
yeah.
What about right now? Just holds up his phone.
Like, again, I respect the courage, but come on, man.
I think I'm more of a tactical hustler, just read the room. But many people can't do that, and a lot of those people are successful, so power to them. But
everyone has their own path.
I don't have the mental capacity to watch a short film at lunchtime when I'm on set. It's like
I don't have the self-confidence to ask someone to watch my short film at lunchtime.
Yeah, shit. So maybe that guy's fucking killing
he's gonna
right
be.
now.
We're gonna be working for him someday.
Yeah, probably. Hey, do you want to be a guest on the podcast?
Next.
Okay, so I get asked by the producer. He's like, you need to go to Dairy Queen and get the director a dilly bar. And a dilly bar is like one of those circular, it's like ice cream and it's surrounded in chocolate and it's on a stick. And we're shooting down at like Queen and Broadview. And there's a Dairy Queen up at Broadview and Danforth. So it's like a 10-minute drive max in normal traffic. But that day there was a shooting at Broadview and Queens.
Ooh.
So the whole thing was closed off. So it was just traffic is diverted
and again,
everywhere.
because you're just talking about a film set. You're not talking about a shooting, like a film shooting.
No, sorry, yes, a gun shooting, like a fatal shooting.
So you were going
just up the street
from one shooting to another
shooting. Yeah, there's just shooting all day. And I was shooting my shot, trying to do a nice job for these guys.
That was good. I'm like, can we get a third one out of this?
We got it.
We got it.
So I drive up to Dairy Queen, I get a dilly bar, and the traffic's even fucking worse going back. And I'm like, how? Like, I didn't bring a cooler, I didn't bring ice or anything. Like, how am I going to keep this thing cold? This thing's just going to be a glob by the time I get back to the set. So I crank the AC as high as it can go. Put it all, you put the fans in the front, so it's just like one section. It's just like the arrow pointing at the little person. Blasting it at like 100, and I'm just holding the dilly bar up against the little vents and like spit roasting it, like keeping it cold. I think it took me like 25 minutes, half an hour to get back down there. Stressing the fuck out, but it gave me time to think of this line. What am I gonna say to the director when I go up there and give him the dilly bar? So I go back on set. I'm finally there.
Are they like, it's been 30 minutes? Have they said that to you?
No. The director doesn't know that the dilly bar is coming.
Oh,
it's like it's a little surprise, probably an inside joke
Okay.
that I didn't understand. But anyway, I get in there, cannot feel either of my hands because they're just so close to the vent from just blasting the AC the whole time, like basically like arthritic pain running through my fucking joints. I walk up to the director who's just finishing a conversation with the DOP. And he turns and like faces me. And I held up the dilly bar and I said, "Sir, a gift from the Queen." And I swear to God, he did not look at me. He looked over my shoulder at the producer and went, "Oh, you didn't. And just took it out of my hand.
Still not looking at you.
Like I was a grip stand. Like I was nothing. And took it in my hand, put it in his mouth, spun on his heel and walked away. And I'm just standing there like, fuck. I just went through so much shit
and didn't get
for your stupid little joke, and I did not even get the fucking credit for it. And
even if you just chuckled at your joke, you would have been, or your line, you would have been like, worth it.
Yep. But now I pitch against that guy all the time, so that's fun.
Actually?
Yeah.
Wow, that's like plot twist. That's okay. That's interesting.
And I'm like, "Sir, no gifts from the Queen this time."
I'll be taking this gift.
So like those little stupid stories that happen on set, I really like. I have so many, but we could just eat the podcast up telling those stories.
Okay, so that's one way to do it, right? And like, let's dramatize some of, like, there's already pretty dramatic shit. Like I know that nervousness you had when you were bringing the dilly bar, for example, that feeling of like, oh my God, like that cringiness inside you can be the essence of the fucking film. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Even like the cringiness of popping the windshield and being like, my life is over. Like I am a fuck up. Like, and then that self-talk of like, I fucked up. You know that scene in Boogie Nights when Philip Seymour Hoffman's like, stupid.
Yeah.
That's how I, like when we fuck up that young and even now when I fuck up sometimes, I'm like, fucking stupid, man. How'd I do this? So that's, I'm sure, where it was going through your head, where it's like just self-talk was just on a whole different negative.
Yeah. So that's one thing. I do like this idea of passing the baton, just because of in doing like a slacker kind of thing and continuing some narrative thread, but through different POVs, because there are so many characters on set. Like the AD is like, genuine, a crazy person with the most organized brain ever. The director has so much pressure. The agency who have so much pressure, putting their own pressure on the director, and then the client. Like there's so many tiers to to like inflict
I do like it a lot. Like, I'm a fan of that. We're both fans of that, like that world and writing about it. So it's like, I'm just thinking, yeah, we would just need a very strong reason. It's like Slacker. The one thing with Slacker is not much happens almost in a way, because it's just like pockets of their life. So it's like do we have like this arching like narrative that's like happening, like a thing that the PA brings to give to the AD, like a memory card, for example, right? I'm stealing from my own other film now, but he brings a memory card, and the AD takes a memory card to the director, and it's not the memory card, but for example, or like a shot list or a script, and it's like the PA brings a script from the client, for example, or producer, right? And the AD's like, oh, there's changes. Then you see her life, and then she takes it to the director, and the director's like, oh, fuck off, and blah blah. And then it goes to the DOP, be like, we have to change up the lighting and stuff. Then the DOP then goes, to his crew, guys, we got to change this. And the gaffer and grip have a moment, and then it goes back to the PA, because they go back to the PA and they're like, go get us this, and then it's a full circle.
And then at the end, it's just like, yeah, client just likes it the original way.
Yeah,
so
that is what happens for sure. That's what happens, and it could be literally. They could finally get to maybe you don't go back to the PA like that. Maybe it's like gaffer and grip, and like again you've gone down the line or through the line, and all this, and then as they're setting up the shot, the PA in the same fashion he started the film, where he comes rushed with a paper, comes in and goes, actually they said they want the same thing or whatever.
Yeah,
like the PA,
we don't need that anymore.
Because the PA
Idiot.
started the chain and the PA stops the chain.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting.
That could be it.
So that's one.
That's a lot of shit to get through, but it gives us a lot of fodder.
Yeah.
Or that singular story, like, is it about this PA who just wants to get his short film shown and can't get anyone to watch it? It's just like putting himself in these situations and like, oh, I'll test the TV, and like puts a short film on, or like
yeah. My thing is like this day of all days. Why is it like there has to be something that goes wrong? You know what I mean? Obviously, which again, like right now we're just starting with this idea, but like something goes horribly wrong, or something happens, or maybe it starts with him. The director agreeing that he'll watch the short film. That's the top of the day, and he like somehow gets him convinced.
Oh, and he gets on a run, and he's got to get back for lunchtime. But
he
like,
fucks up a truck, and he fucks this up, and he's like, I have to get him to do a short film, and then he comes back, and that could be maybe a thing too, right?
Totally. I like that a lot. Something else just ran through my brain and then just went through a door, and I can't see it anymore. But that'll come back.
I have one more out there idea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just
it came back
quickly. It came back just in case it runs back through again.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
But I like for years, and I talked to a lot of people like trying to develop a series about production assistants, because like here I am just giving everyone something to go off of and use for their own aspirational projects. What would happen if a PA died on the way to work? Like, I always thought it'd be a funny, like, cold open of, like, a wrecked cube truck and the camera gear's just all over the highway and a PA died in a wreck. That's not the funny part.
Yeah,
the funny part,
comedy. This guy knows comedy. Everyone.
The funny part is the production manager calling the other PA and be like, yo, go get the camera off the highway. And it's like, dude, it's an active investigation. It's like, go get the camera so we can shoot. Like, if a PA died on the way to work, would the shoot day still happen?
Oh, so it's a very black, dark comedy where it's like
super fucking dark.
Where it's like they're caring more about the fact that he died, but we gotta get our day is like
this Chrysler commercial is not gonna shoot itself.
Yeah, it has to be like this Wonder Bread commercial.
Yeah, something so shitty.
That's a good.
Dr. Edgar waits for no one.
Yeah, that's a good way to make sure we never work again. Yeah. That's a good way to shit on our industry. Yeah, totally. Love that. I actually do. I think that's pretty dark, and it's interesting if the PA like.
But everyone's been like, "That's too dark. That's too dark. That's not the tone." I'm like, "Well,
no, but hey, you came to the right person.
We're just making it up.
You came to the right guy if you want to do dark."
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because what I like about that in general, just the essence of that is not even the death and stuff. It's the idea that the PA has to go into like a war zone or like an illegal entrance to like a crime scene or whatever the fuck it is, to do his job. And it's very like, well, yeah, you got to do this. And he's like, you want me to, there's like a shooting happening.
Yeah.
There's like two gangs fighting right now. Yeah, but we have to get this dilly bar, for example, and he has to go through this war zone.
Dairy Queen's on the other side of the turf war.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like, there's something funny but dark about that, where it's like, well, yeah, you got to do this. And then for his career, that's what he's thinking, right? At the end of the day, that's his motivation. And like,
and then it ultimately, I like the idea of the ending ultimately being for nothing. Like,
yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, well, we don't need that anymore, or you're too late, or
Dude, this is like so close to my short film. I'm just
It's true.
it's
It's
so
very
close
true.
to it.
It's
Let's
true.
just do mine. I will just read it and then
Yeah.
here's like a very, just because we like doing this, a left field idea. Keep all those ideas on track. The baton, I think, is a good idea. The passing the baton slacker style, I think it's pretty cool. This idea of a PA going through like this harrowing journey. And honestly, we can tie in the two middle ideas we had, which is like he's trying to get back to show the short film to the director, but now he has to go through this like very fucked up assignment.
Yeah.
Like,
that's like a great ABC. Like,
right? Yeah. Now this left field idea, I just want to go back to horror for a second. If it was horror, I don't know what I'll just pitch the very vague, or sorry, the very like the rough, shitty version of it, and then maybe you can help me. It's like a director trying to get a shot, right? Like he's trying to get the scene done, and he wants to, like, you know, when like you're on a set and you have a producer down your neck, or a client, right, for example, and you gotta like make this, and in your head you have like these versions of it or whatever, and
you want the shit for your reel.
yeah, that's a good way to put it. You're like, but this show looks like for my reel, and then you're trying to push it, and the client's not down. Now I don't know where this, if it's a director who is the horror element or the client, but it's like they go, let's have a talk. So they go to the green room, and they close the door, and everything is a little dark. And it's like the clients are like vampires. Or they're like just...
Emotional vampires? Or what's the... There's like... Is it emotional vampire or like...
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. There's a guy on What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, yeah. I'm
I can't remember the actual
fully,
like sort of term for it, but... Yeah.
But you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
like,
just...
like imagine it's like that world where like... Or it's like a world where vampires and werewolves and zombies are a thing, and you're a director in that world doing commercials, and your clients are vampires, and it's like and you're trying to get a shot for your reel, and they had this moment where they kind of just come down on you, and it's like very scary and shit, and it's like imagine your client as a vampire giving you notes.
Yeah, or like your client's the dude from Dune in the bathtub.
Lord Baron.
I don't know, but
no,
the guy who like floats up to the ceiling
yeah.
is like. Blah.
Well, the weirdest thing is, this happened with me and you. This happens with me and you like quite a bit. I literally just watched that today, like in the background.
Oh yeah.
Like because I sometimes have a movie on in the background to watch. Dune is such a weird movie to have in the background.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
But it's because I haven't seen it in a long time.
Screensaver movie.
Yeah. So no, I was like eating and watching it, but so strange to bring that up. But anyways,
you're just putting spice on your food and you're like,
spices. But Lord Baron is his name.
Okay.
And yeah, so like someone like him, like just creepy, like breathing heavy and just giving you notes, and it's scary because he's so powerful.
Yeah.
You know? Left field, but
yeah,
interesting.
That's cool. I think though there's more. I think we can flow quicker and better
in the other world
with this sort of more experiential, realistic.
Take from our lives a bit and amp it up. No, I'm down. I just wanted to make sure I got heard. My voice was heard, so that was an idea I had.
Okay,
left field.
I'm here to say that I hear you, I see you, but we're not doing that.
Okay, all right. I like the first two. Okay, cool. Done.
We'll do it?
Yeah. No. Which one?
We're going to do the passing the baton slacker thing. Okay.
Yeah. Blue Sky hasn't even technically started yet. Oh, it has, but...
Well, now we can start
we're gonna
figuring out the idea. Okay.
Which one? So baton or the harrowing journey, right?
Yeah, let's go with this death thing. It's like dark.
The harrowing journey of the PA.
Harrowing journey of the PA, but he gets asked to do something extra fucked up. Because, like, the last thing we want to do is fully shit on an industry that has been so kind to us, right? Commercials are an amazing way to make money and play with big toys and meet really cool people. I've met some of my best friends through commercials. So, like, I think what we'd be doing is a very hyperbolic version of that, because we do get asked to do these menial things. And I'm going to pull from, like, before I had a career. So if we've worked together and you're listening, I love you. And
I mean, just for a second though, it's not just commercials. Like people.
Well, that's it. Film in general. People die on film sets.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time.
I was gonna say people die on film sets.
That's why there's unions. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you get told, and there's some sets, sure, that might be toxic, sure, but like I've had like you just said, man, I've had great times on film sets. If I could be on a film set every day, I would choose to do that. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Like,
I mean, especially in the directing world, like I've had intense days, but never really like bad days.
Yeah. And the good thing is once you learn and you come up, like you have a different path than me. You were a PA for a while. So it's like, I'm sure And I've had the path where I've struggled in different ways where it's like, once we both got to the directing role, you get to set the tone of the set too. If you want to, so like you don't have to because the producer and the agents and clients are pretty big on it. But as a director, you can still really set the tone with how you talk to the DP and the crew, so that everyone knows, oh, it's a fun set.
Yeah,
you know. And I'm very much like, shit needs to get done. I can be a little like stern because you can need to be as a director. Because like if I'm like pushover director over here, we're fucked. Yeah. We're not making our day. Mm-hmm. But so I can be like, you know, like anal about stuff, but it's always in the vibe of like love and fun, where it's like, guys, this is for like, we get paid to fucking do this. You know, I have that energy usually, and I hope, like, I try my best to make it contagious on set.
Yeah.
But still, you're right. Shit happens. And for the sake of this story, it's going to get dark.
It's going to get dark. But it's all for the sake of comedy too. So,
okay. So PA goes on a harrowing journey.
Yeah. So like, you know, waking up before dawn, the lights, it's still dark outside.
So we show that little quiet morning.
It's raining. It's before the alarm. It's like, you know, 4:50 or something, and he gets a call. Or she gets a call. And it's, yo, you have to go to Kipling and 401 now. The overpass at Kipling and 401 now. And it's like, okay, how do I get there? It's like, I don't know, figure it out. Save your receipt. Goes up there, and it's a car crash. Call me when you get there, and it's a car crash. And there's camera gear everywhere. And it's like, okay, I'm here. I think Jimmy's hurt or something, you know? It's starting to get like, I'm like, oh shit, this is like touchy as fuck, but.
As you say it, right? You know what it gives me vibes of? If you want to set the tone of just like use a film as a reference. Have you seen Nightcrawler?
Yeah.
It gives me that vibe.
Oh yeah.
Like going really
funny Nightcrawler.
Funny Nightcrawler?
Yeah, like imagine
Nightcrawler to me has funny moments because it's so dark. Like
yeah.
He's so fucked up in it that you're like, dude, that's kind of funny how this is not real. Like it makes you feel like this is kind of sadistic and unreal.
And that's a movie about Jake Gyllenhaal as like a sort of paparazzi kind of guy, or an ambulance chaser, and he like goes and gets footage of like crime scenes and stuff, and is there before the professionals.
Gets to a point where he wants to cause crime so he can film it.
Right.
Like that. I don't know. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. At the ending where like he basically lets Riz Ahmed's character die to get the footage and also film everything part of it. Like that's how dark it gets, because he becomes obsessed with becoming like, I'm a businessman. I run this company and I do this. And it's fun. So that's like the tone I would love to set in this, where maybe our character isn't Jake Gyllenhaal where he wants to do dark shit, but he's in a world where he's like the Riz Ahmed of that film, where he's like, I gotta fucking do shit. And he's doing it because he wants to make it. And we can set that in the beginning of the film when he wakes up, his room is full of posters. And like he's sleeping on the floor, but he has like the biggest TV screen. So he's putting his money into like film and just media, and he just is obsessed with it, and everything he does, even like maybe we can even give hints in his wardrobe. Like when he goes outside, he has like a jacket and a toothpick, and he's like, so like I'm fucking Ryan Gosling from Drive. Like
right.
He's like fucking I breathe film kind of PA, and he wants to be a director. That's one way to go about it. So you really kind of pepper in it, and again, it's a very colorful character now. I like that maybe the titles and the intro title doesn't really happen. Like cut to black happens like 30 seconds into the film, 45 seconds when he sees the crash. Yeah. He gets there and it's like just taped off, and he goes in and he's like, he calls him and he goes, I'm here. There's a crash. And the guy goes, yeah, I know. And he goes, yeah, I think I see Jimmy's car. Yep.
Yeah, or Jimmy's cube truck. Yeah,
Jimmy's cube truck or something, right? And then it's like, yep. And he goes, and then all you hear from the other side is like, the camera's in the truck. Bring it to set. Click. And he goes, wait, what?
And just say that the camera gear is all over the highway, and it's like, bring it to set. And it's like fucking Frogger.
Oh, yeah. But, okay, fair. In this world, like, not in this world, but like when the camera gear fell out, it didn't break or anything.
No, the cases are, it's like,
Pelican cases.
Is the camera gear intact? Yes, but it's all over the highway. Bring it to set. Click.
Okay, so here's one concern in this blue sky portion. I like that fucking a lot, just because it's like it's all over. Like he's already saying like, yeah, this is kind of, it's not gonna happen. And he goes, is it still intact? Yeah, they're in the cases, but it's all over the highway. All right, bring them to set. Like as it like, well then they're fine, so bring them. But does the film then become him literally playing Frogger and like gets one and then gets another one? So it's like, what can we put that's more interesting? Or is it cut to black screen intro credits, cut back? He already has all the gear, and it's him getting out of there or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, What's more interesting to show?
Yeah, because you don't want it to be just about like
sneaking around and
like
getting
each beat is about getting one box. Yeah.
In a video game, I'd be down. That'd be a fun video game level.
Fuck.
That's a fun video game idea where it's like the PA.
Yeah.
It's his life.
Fuck. It would be pretty real.
Would you like to go for a side quest and get a Diddy bar?
Yeah.
Wait, Dilly or Diddy?
Diddy
bar.
Diddy
Puff
bar
Daddy
sounds
bar.
fun. Yeah. I like that, but yeah, like, so then what would happen after he gets that stuff? Like, there should just be like you got it.
I would say, should we play it like Training Day, where it's like he sees it and he's like, I don't know how we get here, but like he's like, yeah, it's here, but some people have already gone to it. Like it's like people like kids getting it and running away. So now he has to go knock on a door of this like area where it's like he should not be here. Like, you know, Training Day where Ethan Hawke gets caught up in this other world and he has to go like knock down doors. It's
just like one case or something. He gets everything else, but then like sees a kid running off with the last case. Goes to that. And what we could do there is not go deep into like the Dune guy horror thing, but the person that's at this house is like fucked up, and he has to do some weird act. Not like your script.
That's so funny how we end up doing that.
But he has to do something weird.
Or Pulp Fiction, where he goes to that house and there's some shit going on. Like, it's, you know, remember that scene where the Gimp is like fucking, what's his name?
Yeah.
Marcel Wallace.
Yeah.
So you know how like that happens, where he sees the case, kid runs off, he goes there, and over there's like a cult sacrifice going on.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, what? And the PA, like, it's kind of crazy because the PA is actually, now we're doing your script. That's the cult thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's fine. That's already out in the world. So.
I sick. So imagine he goes there and then there's like a cult or some doing some kind of sacrificial thing, and it's just dark and it's very like it's not a rich cult. It's like a cult in like a neighborhood where you wouldn't expect a cult.
It's a real up and coming cult.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They're like, we're cult junior right now. We're tier 1 cult.
Yeah.
I like that kind of angle.
Yeah, and then has to do something with them to get the camera thing, then goes back, and then we just rented another camera. It's all good. Insurance will cover it. Like
we wow, I sounded like fucking like the Porky
Pig.
Yeah. Can you do it? That's all, folks. Maybe he gets it, then we should add like a fun chase scene, maybe where he's like running and it's like sweat and he gets tangled somewhere, he has to take off his jacket that gets tangled in a door, and he's running with the case and
he loses his nice Ryan Gosling jacket.
Oh yeah, exactly. That, and then he's like coming up, climbs a fence and all these things, running in puddles, like basically amp up to get back. He has to go through this like torturous kind of run. And gets back, and like you said, he gets there. You know, and it's like and they go, and they don't even like, again, no eye contact, like your story. They no eye contact. They go, they pick it up, cool, and just start talking to each other, and he's just in the middle of it all.
And that's it.
And there's blood on his face. Like they still don't, you know. And that's maybe it.
And they're like, can you do a Starbucks run?
yeah. They ask him to do something else.
Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. There's no I think that's it. It's not like we don't need it anymore, because obviously they're waiting for the camera, so it could just be thankless, you know, and that's the the womp.
Like what we do usually, the ending could be changed while we write it, because it could, the not needed could even be as simple as like, okay, the RE is here, or whatever, the camera's here, or like this is here, and they're like, yeah, I'm actually thinking no B cam for this one, you know, like it was a B cam, like something like that.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck, like a B cam for Tracy in what does Smartlist do? Tracy in Ohio. B cam is basically a secondary cam in a scene, where the A cam films like the main portion of the main frame, and the B cam is like your coverage.
Yeah, and it finds moments for you to help along in the edit or whatever, a close up or whatever.
So maybe like he comes back with the camera, like the one piece that was missing, and it's a part of the camera, and they're like, yeah, I'm thinking we don't need a B cam for this one. Oh, okay, cool. And they just like, and it's an option for an ending. We'll decide when we actually write it. But maybe they take the box from him, and then the director or DP says that we don't need a B cam, and they just toss it back in his like arms.
Can you return this?
Yeah. And just walk away. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And you just kind of left alone. Yeah.
You know, I don't know why I just thought like the intro it'll be kind of fun is because we're saying maybe he's like a movie cinephile, right? Movie fanatic, and then he has a drive jacket and a toothpick and all these things. And then it's kind of funny if when he like in his world, you know, that's how we're main character energy, where he gets in the car and we shoot it, like we write it and shoot it very like drive. Like he gets in and Kavinsky's The Call's playing and he's like driving and he's fucking cool. And then slows down. When he gets to the 401 Kipling, like the opening of the film, when he gets there, like build up is so sexy. Like he's the sexiest PA, coolest PA. Gets there and then it's like back to reality where he goes, there's like cops everywhere. It's like shut down. It just the whole moment dies.
Yeah.
And then the guy goes, yeah, we'll bring it to set or whatever. But it's like the idea of this main character energy.
Yeah.
And that's why the rest of the film, I feel like it gives more like...
Because, you could still...
Like he thinks he still is the main character doing all these tasks. Because
it's like being a kid and looking at the window and it's the music video, that kind of shit.
Yeah, you called me out for that. I remember like 2 weeks ago we were in the back seat.
You were a little wistful.
Yeah, I was looking out the window. You're like, should do a little music video there? I do that a lot. I look out the window and just like think of scenes.
Oh, yeah. I'm always in a movie.
Yeah.
Waiting in line at No Frills and Anya's playing. And
it's like a Jim Jarmusch movie.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
I think it's Jarmusch.
Jarmusch, sorry.
Yeah,
Jarmusch.
but most colloquially known as Jarmusch.
You could have said any of those and I would have bought
There's no umlaut.
Before we get it, because we have a nice little fluff here. We have a nice little through line. Should we go through the beats to really kind of clean them up before we go to write it?
Sure. So wake up in a room that's like dedicated to movie stuff, like sleeping on a mattress on the floor, really nice TV, maybe some like neon lights or whatever, just to hit that.
Maybe some, and I'm going to butcher this word because I always don't know if it's homage or homage.
Yeah, homage.
Homage.
Either word.
Homage to a bunch of films around him, right? Like just small little trinkets from movies.
Joe Pesci bobblehead.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and the briefcase from Pulp Fiction,
right?
Like literally,
that's his lamp. He just like opens.
Yeah, dude. I kind of want to buy that, a lamp where it's the briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
That's a good idea.
Oh, that's fucking nice.
Trademark.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
And then gets a call. Maybe it's like before his alarm or something. Like it's like so he's jarred awake by this call.
So then he opens the briefcase to open the lamp.
Opens the briefcase. It kind of reveals his room. It could just be like, 4:58. I was thinking like it'd be cool if it goes from 4:59 to 5 and then his phone immediately rings. But like that would suggest that
it's organized.
Production managers care about the time of their PAs. It's just you're on the clock. You're on the
Actually,
clock.
Funnier thing is like it's like 4:54.
4:54.
Like
yeah.
A time that's like, wait, what?
And he gets woken up. We don't hear what's on the other side, and he's just like, "What? Where? Okay, how do I get there? I don't know. Just go. Just bring your car. We'll figure it out. I don't know what.
Yeah.
If we hear the other conversation or not." Goes there.
I think you do, and every time, and I mean, just for the fun of it, let's put our own homages into this. Where whenever it cuts to maybe we cut to the production manager talking, and it's just the back of his head with a Band-Aid on it, like Pulp Fiction. Like, like something like that. Maybe we could do that just for fun. Yeah. You cut to the production manager and he's on the call. He's like, yeah, well, we got to get there.
Or it'd be funny. Maybe it'd be funny if you just heard their voice and you set up a certain kind of character. And then when you see them, like you're like, oh man, this guy's a big badass fucking Hollywood guy. But then when you see them, they're just like diminutive, like kind of shitty, like not what you would expect.
Not as cool
like making it more mysterious.
Yeah, that's fun, dude. That's a good
reveal,
bit.
Kind of like the curtain gets gets dropped at the end there. The
Wizard
rug
of
gets
Oz?
pulled. Yeah.
Because you could maybe just show a close up of his mouth or like his hand. If we show him ever, like it's like his hand is like a ring on it, and it's like all you see is that. And when you see him, he's like a 5'2", very soft spoken guy, but it's just he's the douchey kind of guy.
Yeah. And then so he gets to the highway. The truck is here, I think. And he sees like the gurney and stuff. He's like, I think Jimmy's in trouble. And it's like, is the camera there? Yeah, it's all over the highway.
And him getting there, remember, is like a build up of like a film scene.
Yeah, build up like a film scene. He's like directing his own movie in his head. And then gets there, shit everywhere, sees body taken away, and then camera scattered all over the ground. And then he says, yeah, the camera's here. Okay, bring it. It's all over the highway. Did I stutter? That kind of thing. Fucking bring it. And then...
Intro credit.
And cut back. He's like putting the second last box in.
Into his car.
Goes to the last box.
Or just, turns
and
where
the
the other one is.
Kid's like... like taking off with it. Has to go to a couple houses, finally finds the one, like sees the kid. He's like, I know you have my thing. And then he gets into this weird cult thing, or I don't know. Or it
maybe the kid runs, so he starts following the kid, and he's going through his fucking stranger's house, but he's like, he has to get the case. And then the kid goes into the basement. He goes into the basement. Then he goes through the basement into a back door. He goes into the back door. It's like fucking Barbarian.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? And there's a cult happening, and the kid kind of runs into the crowd of the cult, maybe, or whatever, right? I just don't know what happens here. That's what I want to kind of think about a tiny bit before we go write it.
Yeah.
Like, is it, because again, it's a short film. We just need a moment to make you feel like you're there with him and you're in this horrific moment. So,
is there someone like locked in a room, or like, you know, they have to deal with getting that person free, or like.
Have you seen Babylon?
No.
Oh, so good. I mean, I really liked it. There's a scene in that, again, it's kind of not a spoiler, but I'm sorry, I don't know why I get so fidgety. But basically, it's similar to what we're seeing. It's a basement of like 10 levels, and they keep going lower and lower, and they get to this fucking place where there's like this. I mean, it's like, not to be insensitive, but it's like a freak that they have that they kind of all are like throwing money at, and they're just getting him to do shit.
Right.
And he's like a fucking monster. Like it's like a what's the word, like a mutated kind of thing, right? And they're throwing money at him, and it's like all this thing. And then in that moment, it's very similar to what we're talking about right now, because in that moment, there's a reveal where one of the guys shouldn't be there is there, and it gets fucking like, you're like, you feel for that character. You're like, get out of here, dude. So just using that energy of like, maybe he walks in and they're all cheering at some culty activity that's fucked up. Like, this is, I don't know why I'm pitching this, but like an adult circumcision that's like for the sake of sacrifice, and they're all like, "Arr!" And he's like, what the fuck? Something like,
right. Or
harrowing.
there's just like a big like Lord Baron kind of character who's like a blobby like Jabba the Hutt thing, and there's like all these like hoses coming off his stomach, and they're all like drinking blood from, or like liquid from the hoses that come from this guy. You know, it's like this fucking
that's
weird.
Dark.
Like we don't even have to like really explain what is happening. It's just like, this is fucking strange.
Like if you just describe the hose coming down, people think, you don't even say what is it that they're drinking. It's like what, but it's like a very subtle, because the movie's not about the cult. That's the interesting thing, where we're not even going to dive into the cult. It's just this PA ended up here.
Yeah, and he's just looking for a fucking mat box.
Yeah. So then does he see the kid and then run after him?
For those at home, a mat box is the little thing that goes on the front of the lens to help block the sun and put filters in and stuff. Yeah.
I like that. That's what it is, though. It's like not even the body of the camera. It's a fucking mat box.
Yeah.
It's not even like expensive lenses. It's literally a mat box. So then what? Does he like see the kid in the middle of the cult, or like running through, and he go, oh, just gets it, and they all then turn and stare at him. Like he goes, hey, you! And he grabs it from him. And then as he goes, yeah, and he turns around and they're all looking at him.
Yeah.
Like that kind of moment.
Or does like, does he come in and see all this shit and they all just kind of look at him, and the case is just there on the floor, and like, do we make it like a huge weird letdown? Does it have to escalate? And he just like walks over to it and like picks it up and like walks out, you know, like that? Or like, should he get like trapped or kidnapped?
If that's what it is, what you're saying, then we need one more beat then of an adventure from getting back home.
Yeah. Like
one more thing that happens. If that's the only thing that's happening, then I would want a little amp up, like, which I said, like, which we were saying earlier, where it's like he gets the map box, and then like they see him, whatever, and then they chase him. So it's a big chase scene. The jacket comes off and all this shit.
Yeah, okay. The chase scene has to happen.
I think. If not, I like what you're saying, but then we have to add another beat. If there's no chase, if there's no amp right here, if there's no like, oh fuck, he got caught, then we need one more thing that he does on the way back to set.
Then he should get caught, and there should be a struggle there, because then it just like ups the absurdity of what he just went through to get the fucking.
That's the
box,
thing, yeah.
know? Okay.
Oh, I got another one. Okay, just because I maybe it's too long for a short film, so maybe we'll cut this when we're writing it, if we feel too many pages. Cult thing, gets the briefcase, runs to the house. running, they're like chasing after him, and maybe it's like he did go down maybe 2-3 levels of stairs to get to the underground basement, like kind of like Barbarian. Runs up, this is also kind of Barbarian-ish, but he runs up, gets into the basement, he goes to the stairs, and he's like runs up, he's about to go outside, but he sees someone else outside, so then he goes into another bedroom and locks the door. He's waiting, he turns around, and there's some fucking beast in that room as well.
Yeah,
because so it's like one more piece of like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like he's like, quiet. And he turns around, and maybe it's like something at first. I don't know what it is he sees here.
Yeah, it could be some beast or a dog or like
Well, I mean, like a person,
Okay.
like another horror figure, you know. But maybe it's like at first it's just like a person, like, oh, it's a girl, it's fine, shh, and then the girl's like,
Yeah,
you know,
her jaw unhinges or something.
Like, what the fuck?
But then do we just go hard? Like she's like, "Wah," and then we hard cut, and he's back on set, and his jacket's just shredded, and like he's got a bit of blood on him. You know what I mean? Like,
Or I was gonna say he runs out that door, then he jumps out the window of the house, and then he's run. That's when the chase scene happens.
right? Yeah.
I mean, maybe too much. You're right. Maybe it's too much. But I think you do this chase scene. Like, okay, so loses the kid runs off with map box, follows kid into a house, chases kid down to the basement, cult in the basement. He's like, oh shit. He's quiet for a bit. Then he kind of yells at the kid to give the map box to him, and everyone notices him, turns around, and he's like caught now.
Or yeah. Okay. So what if? Okay. So the kid, I'm just like, why is this kid stealing a map box and running into a cult house? So like maybe he goes into that house, but you go in and it's just like this weird empty house, like almost like a liminal space, like Under the Skin.
Okay.
It's
okay.
not necessarily like this big black void, but it's just like.
Explain that a bit for people who haven't seen it.
Under the Skin is a Jonathan Franzen. Is that his name? What's
I have no idea, but it's Scarlett Johansson, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, more
I'd
like
to know.
explain the space that you're visualizing.
It basically Scarlett Johansson's is alien. It looks like a human, and Jonathan Glazer. Why did I say Franzen? That's an author, I think. Jonathan Glazer, great director. She's like hitchhiking around the UK or some shit, and she preys on lonely men that think she's hot and brings them into this weird, just completely black void, and they're both like walking in this water, and it's very artsy and weird and moody, and I think the assumption is she's kind of like eating them or like devouring them in some weird metaphysical way.
It's like liquid ground, like it's like wet ground, and then they kind of almost like
They
drown
just
in
go
it.
in like this weird pool and kind of disappear into it.
But it's
very,
like all
very
black
strange,
void.
and
like
it's
just
never explained or anything, and it's just a big, deep black void. But like, what if he goes in and like it's not a living room or like a house? It's like a weird, just like one room that's all kind of sterile and dark, and there's just one door, and he goes through the one door, and then there's another door, and then he finally gets to the cult. All the weird guy with the hose thing happens. Then he runs out. The map box is nowhere to be found. He runs out into another room where the kid is with the map box. And the kid's like just playing with the map box or whatever. And he's like, hey, little guy, like, I need to take that map box. And then there's another thing that happens with that kid. That kid's not a normal kid. He's like the son of the weird hose monster thing or something. You know what I mean? Like there's a beat of that kid having a jump scare or another obstacle. And then that's the thing. You know what I mean? Just to like get him into the cult and not have a kid like in the center of the cult playing with a map box.
No, I totally get what you mean. Yeah. I'm trying to think because I feel like that kind of, if the cult doesn't chase him out of the room and that's why he goes into the other room, it's kind of
they would chase him out of the room.
So that does happen,
and then he ends up going to the other room, and then serendipitously finds the map box. But then there's another obstacle, like the kid or another monster or like another thing that he has to deal with. And then
do we see that he goes into the cult and then the kid runs through the cult through another door?
I don't.
Because then the kid goes through it because kid's very comfortable with this house. Right. Kid's like, this is my.
It's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. I think maybe though,
because to me, okay, sorry, go on.
We're like we've been riffing for a while. I think maybe if we get to, we kind of find the ending there. Like we know where we want to land. There's just like one more step to it. So like maybe we start writing and we find it in the flow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The ending for sure. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so kid runs off. He ends up at the house. Ends up on somehow into a room full of people, a cult basically.
Doing some weird
tang. Then the cult sees him. They chase him out. He ends up in another room where the kid might be with the mat box, and maybe the kid's like nestled underneath like this monster. You know, like it's the kid. He's like chilling and like he has a box with him, and there's a monster like sleeping behind him, kind of thing. Maybe that's a game we play or whatever. And then it's the same thing where it's like he kind of gets it, and then that monster or that animal or that beast or whatever character jumps and like starts chasing our guy too, and then he runs out. Cult's also outside. He's like, oh fuck. So it's just like, really, I want to just the whole point is to make the PA's life is fucking like, come on,
and be as hyperbolic as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So then he comes out and there's a fucking cult there. He's like, oh, get the fuck out. He starts running, and then like he jumps through the window. Jumps out the window. There's already other people out there waiting for him. So then he runs more. So that chase scene becomes very like, fuck my life. Jumps over a fence, takes off his jacket, gets the thing. He's running, breathing, and then it's like we use the like a close up of him, a tempo of him going.
And then
he's on set.
Yeah, and he's on set, and it anticlimactic. Yeah, cool. That's great.
He's on set. We could take from your scene, your stories though. He's on set. He's like running, and then cut to standing, and he's standing behind the director.
Yeah.
And the director turns around and he goes, "What is it? The queen has
a gift from the queen.
Maybe not that, but
a
like
gift from the cult."
But he's he's like happy because he's like, I'm gonna present something to this guy or the AD.
Yeah, I'll think of a good Matt Box pun or something. Yeah.
And then gets it and doesn't even make eye contact and boom, boom, boom. And then the ending is either ungrateful, like no Thanksgiving. Instead, they're like, we need you. Can you pick the Starbucks order up? Or it's actually we're gonna scrap the B cam.
Yeah.
And then that's one of the endings.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good.
Yeah. Same.
All right, cool. So I think it's the part where we write it.
Boom.
I got a part in a play. What's that line?
It's I auditioned for a play and I got the part.
All right, see you guys in a bit.
Bye. And now, call time. Interior bedroom, early morning. A dark room. Our hero, the PA, 20s, is dead to the world. The alarm clock reads 4:54 a.m. His ringtone startles him awake, the iconic theme from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He reaches over to his side table where a replica briefcase from Pulp Fiction sits, and he opens it. Ominously orange light illuminates his room. Groggily, he reaches for his ringing phone, instantly anxious when he sees the caller ID.
Hey, everything okay?
The voice of the production manager, Harold, late 40s, can be heard on the other end. He's clearly smoking.
You need to pick up a couple of packages and bring them to set. 401 in Kipling.
Which rental house?
Harold inhales sharply and speaks through a lungful of smoke.
It's not a rental house. Just get to the exit and you'll see the packages.
So I'm driving myself then?
Harold audibly exhales.
Well, you could walk, but don't expect to keep your job if you do.
Before the PA can respond, click, Harold hangs up. A series of quick cuts show the PA getting ready amidst his barely furnished room. A mattress on the floor and a huge expensive-looking TV are dwarfed by stacks of Blu-rays and countless movie posters and paraphernalia. His obsession with film is palpable. With strong main character energy, he slips on his Ryan Gosling drive jacket and tucks a toothpick into his mouth. Cut 2. Exterior driveway, moments later. Another series of quick cuts. We see the PA getting into his car, starting it, and pulling out of his driveway. Cut 2. Exterior highway, later. The wipers groan as they sweep away the spattering of light rain. Traffic lights refract through the droplets and into the car. Kavinsky's Night Call plays in the background. By the way the PA carries himself, it feels more like a music video than your average commute to work. His moment of coolness ends abruptly as he approaches his destination. We see flickers of light from emergency vehicles and a cube truck upside down in a ditch surrounded by yellow tape. The PA dials a number. Harold answers. He is smoking again.
What?
Jimmy's cube truck is here, but
Is the camera package there?
the truck's upside down.
A quick beat of annoyed silence.
In a ditch.
Is the camera package there?
Yeah, but they're scattered across the 401.
Fuck. Any damage?
The PA takes stock.
The cases, they look fine.
Perfect. Bring them to set.
The PA's attention is pulled to two paramedics as they slide a gurney into the back of an ambulance.
Is Jimmy okay?
Don't worry about Jimmy. We can't shoot without that camera package. Get here, now.
But
Click. Harold hangs up again. The PA examines the scene and sighs.
fuck this.
Cut to black. Title card. Call time. Fade in. Exterior highway later. The PA finishes putting a pile of boxes into his trunk. Just one more to go. With an almost imperceptible sigh, he jogs toward it. But before he gets there, a kid, 9, snatches the box and takes off toward a low-rise complex.
Fuck this.
Cut 2. Exterior field moments later. The PA runs through the field in search of the kid. He sees that little fucker hop a fence and disappear into the interior courtyard of the low-rise complex. Another sigh. The PA climbs the fence, careful not to sully his favorite jacket. The PA searches for any sign of the kid. Then he sees someone slip into a nondescript home. Bingo. He approaches the house and knocks. Nothing. Then he tries the knob. It opens and he reluctantly peeks his head inside.
Hello?
Cut 2. Interior nondescript home continuous. Inside, he is met with an empty room. A low hum emanates from behind another door. Quietly, he steps toward that door and opens it.
Come on, kid.
Cut 2. Interior dungeon staircase continuous. a long flight of stairs that lead deep underground. The hum starts to sound more like chanting. The PA strains to hear as he cautiously makes his way down. He freezes at the bottom of the stairs at the inconceivable sight, lit only by a small bank of work lights. About 20 feet away, he sees a group of cultists standing around a strange beast, tied up with an obscene amount of ropes and chains. Somewhere between a man and a pig, this thing is 400 pounds of sheer hideousness, its belly pocked with orifices with clear hoses running out of them. On the other side of the hoses, cultists slurp down a bile-like substance running through them. The PA scans the room for the kid, but sees another door just to his right.
Yeah. Fuck this.
The PA begins to turn as his phone vibrates. He looks down and sees a text from Harold. It's a gif of a man tapping his watch as if to say, "Where are you?" Another gif slides into the chat. An image of a homeless man holding a sign that says, "Need work." The PA sighs again and reaches for the other door. It's unlocked. Cut 2, interior lab continuous. There, the PA finds himself in a dimly lit lab. He winces at the shelf of human and animal specimens soaking in jars of formaldehyde. He holds back the urge to puke when he sees living humans tied to their beds. They're all sedated, except for one abomination who looks at him in the eyes and whimpers softly. Before the PA can process, the abomination leans into the light. It's a half man, half possum, chained to the wall like a starfish.
Jesus Christ.
In an act of empathy, the PA begins to untie one of the abomination's hands, but as soon as it's free, it takes a swipe at the PA, who dodges just in time, but not quick enough to save his jacket. The abomination's claws shred the front of it.
Oh, come on.
The abomination channels its feral strength to free itself from the other restraints. The PA guns it out of there. Cut 2, interior dungeon continuous. The PA bolts through the door, slams it, and leans onto it.
Oh!
The cultists remove the hoses from their mouths and turn to him in unison. A quick beat, then BAM! The abomination bursts through the door, sending the PA to the ground. Frantic, he pulls himself up and runs out. The cult and the abomination in hot pursuit. Cut 2, exterior street, seconds later. The PA sprints through the courtyard, looking between every house for a way out. The predators are gaining on him.
Oh, fuck.
On a glance to his right, he notices a house with its lights on so he can see through the window. At a dinner table sits the kid who stole his camera case, chowing down on a bowl of spaghetti with the case right next to him on the table. The PA stops running and drops his shoulders.
Dude.
Cut to a wide tracking shot from outside the house as the PA confidently opens the door and runs inside. The cultists follow. The camera paces alongside the exterior of the house, and we catch some of the action through the windows. Inside, we hear the abomination growl and the kids scream. After a few more beats of auditory chaos, the back door of the house flies open and we see the PA run out, now carrying the camera case and covered in spaghetti. The cultists are right behind him. Cut to exterior street, seconds later. A close-up of the PA as he conjures every bit of speed he has left. He pants, completely out of breath, running for his fucking life. The panting grows louder and louder until... Match cut 2. Interior film set later. The PA stands still behind the director, Jono, 35, a handsome young man covered in tattoos who is obviously a good director. He holds up his finger to shush the PA. The PA is astonished to see they are shooting a take. Behind the PA, we see a cart full of blood-stained camera boxes, the batting of his shredded Ryan Gosling jacket on full display, flecks of spaghetti sauce still in his hair. Without missing a beat, the director looks past the hot mess and smiles at Harold.
You got me a B camera?
Harold smiles a wide, friendly smile. My boy wants a B-cam, he gets a B-cam. The director walks past the PA to shake Harold's hand. The PA watches, incredulous. Then, the assistant director walks past and slaps a note into the PA's hands. Dejected, he inspects it. Close on the paper, it's a coffee order.
Fuck this.
Cut to black.
Finn!
In conclusion, that was fun. I like this one a lot.
We both are fans of this one, I'd say.
Yeah. Like if we saw like there was like some kind of con happening in Toronto, we'd probably buy tickets if we knew that this script was going to be at the con.
The con?
Like a convention.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's a really bad joke.
I want.
Yeah.
I know it's a joke, but elaborate.
You know,
'cause you-
like if Ryan Gosling was going to be at a con, we might go and get like something signed by him. But if the script was there, we'd probably go see it. It's terrible. It's not.
Is there like more to the joke?
No, there's nothing.
Oh, that's
there's
the
nothing more.
joke.
That's
okay,
the
I
joke.
thought you were making
Yeah.
like a entendre or like a.
I think that's why it's taken so long to get my career off the ground.
People keep looking for meaning in my jokes, but there's
I'm
none.
like too fast. I assume everyone's plugged into my brain and sees my stream of consciousness, which they don't. I hope not.
Oh man, the things I see.
Favorite thing?
This film, out of everything we made, and I'll be honest, a lot of the scripts we've written, I want to make those. Like the Comet one, I'm like, that'd be fucking fun to make.
Yeah.
But this one, I think I want to make the most. If I got to pick one of the scripts to like, here's a budget, you guys get to direct this. This would be so fun to make, I think.
In the conversations about like, okay, what's the viscosity of the bile in the hose from the pig man? You know, there's there'd be a lot of fun conversations about that. Favorite thing I'm gonna say is the death of the PA at the beginning, and that the show must go on kind of thing. Because I've wanted to play with that idea for a while, and just like it being the least.
You just didn't find anyone else sick enough to.
Yeah. No one's
humor
sick
it.
and twisted enough. But
Hey, I got you.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. We're even better friends now, I think, because you indulged me in that. I like that a lot because it is this hyperbolic way to show that like no matter what happens on set, like it's just about getting
The show must go on.
The show must go on. The money is being spent, and you know whatever client's not gonna be sympathetic to like we got to push the shoot because someone died, unless it was like the director or something like that, which obviously stopped the shoot.
Stop it for a day
but
till
even
you
then,
find
it
another
begs the
director.
question: like how do you deal with the money that got spent and you can't get back anymore? So it's like an interesting thing. We didn't go into any of that thematically.
We didn't even say it, right? Like we never said, "Oh, he like." All we said was, "What happened to Jimmy? Is Jimmy okay?" And that's it. To be like, and I felt that would be too on the nose if it was
He's
like,
dead.
yeah.
Jimmy's pushing up daisies.
But that I
He
mean,
pulled his last focus. He's no
That's
longer. Yeah.
instead of daisies, I find more like
Yeah.
he closed his last gate. No, that's not.
You checked the last gate.
There we go.
Gate was not clean.
He keeps going with metaphors.
Yeah,
He's like, I get it, man. He's dead. I get it.
Yeah. That was the last take for Jimmy.
Martini on Jimmy. Okay, stop. The man is dead here. I to be honest, like the whole thing was a joyride because once we figured out like what the script was, it was fun to write. I did love how we stumbled upon during the writing of it the tracking shot
Oh yeah.
of outside the house, and you kind of see things happening, and then he grabs the case and he comes out and it's like he has spaghetti on him. It's like such a humorous moment in such a dark, fucked up scene.
Yeah, and
yeah.
the original Old Boy. I haven't seen the new Old Boy, but that was the inspiration in my mind for that. Like when you said it, that's immediately what I was like.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like the Old Boy shot, and we just kind of go through it, but we block out some of the action with the house just to be really funny and like.
You kind of see glimpses because the window's there, so you see a bit, and then it's like a wall, so you don't see for a bit, and then you see window. Oh, the rest of it. So it's cool.
And like if I was gonna like shoot that and direct it, like maybe instead of just hearing the thing growl, the abomination growl, and the kid scream, you might see the abomination growl and like kind of like overcoming the kid, like just fully implying the kid got devoured.
And then because you keep going, the
And you
camera
just
keeps
keep
moving,
going,
and then off camera you hear like the
stuff
crunching of
happening
bones or
and-
whatever the fuck.
Yeah. There could really blow that out.
Yeah, because that's the fun thing about the writing of it, because it's still a first draft, but as we're writing, we're like, I remember we were trying to figure out how to get to the end, and it was like, what if we just cut to the ending? And then it was like, because we both wanted to not show too much and like be like, oh, here's a big chase scene, so that this was like a creative way to continue the chase scene and not just be a typical chase scene, if that makes sense, you know, like a little fun of like, you don't get to see this part too much, it's just a tracking shot from outside the house, and hopefully people understand that like what the point of that scene is. The camera's outside, not in the house. We're seeing it through literally from across the street kind of view.
Yeah, or just like going between houses, like in the lanes between houses kind of thing. Yeah.
That's my favorite scene in it, but a lot of the scenes and a lot of things about it are my favorite.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think too, if you were gonna shoot the short film, like just really driving home the atmosphere in the car and like the music video thing, and like
cool,
set up this
There's
whole,
so many good moments.
just set up these cool moments, and then be like, oh yeah, there's gonna be cultists slurping bile from a pig man. Yeah.
There's so many like set pieces.
Yeah.
Like the driving is a set piece because you get to enjoy making a music video of that fucking moment. The opening scene of a dark room is a cool set piece. The chase scene and through the house, the bile, the lab, setting up a whole lab of like creatures What a set piece.
Yeah.
So there's just so many mini moments that I love about this one.
Anything you didn't like?
The title. Honestly,
yeah.
that's like
Title sucks.
Usually it's like, oh, the time wasn't enough or whatever. But for 7 pages, I think we did great. Like I like it, but the fucking title Calltime. I really don't like it.
Yeah. But it's
a first draft
it
title.
sits into the world. It's a working title. It harkens film and all that. Yeah, I again, the only thing I didn't like I would love to set the PA up a little more, like, because there was nothing to garner pathos from us other than the urgency of this trip, you know what I mean? And like just throwing him into this thing, like we don't have any real reason to be on his side other than he's getting pressure from his boss. Maybe there's more things we could do to humanize him.
Yeah.
And like,
I just think and I agree.
And it's a short. I
was gonna say
it's the same. I think I'm gonna say the same thing every episode. That's just it's my thing.
Totally. But I will still agree with you. I do like less. I wish we had more marination in the character, but I'm just saying shorts allow forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we shouldn't do that, but we should always try to make the characters more 3-dimensional. But
yeah. But yeah, I'm curious too. Like in 10 more episodes, like how we'll address that, because we'll be so fucking like everything's gonna be so exhausted, and like we'll have spent so many ideas. Like how that will force us into a different creative space to do more for characters and like spend more time, but do it in more clever, more succinct ways. Yeah. Could be cool.
That's a good point. I mean, this is a quick one because I feel like we kind of answered it, but at what point during the blue sky were you like, oh, we got a script?
I think when I pitched the idea of the guy dying, like the car crash, and like having to pull camera boxes off the lanes in the 401 or whatever, and you weren't like, that's too dark. When you were like, oh no, I'm here for it, I'm like, okay, we got it, let's do it. Finally, I can put this down on paper.
Yeah. For me, it's like I like that right off the bat. I'm like, oh, fun. Like I'm like, let's be weird and dark and really create this PA's, like make the universe of this PA kind of like fucked up and go through an adventure. And that's when I was like, but it can't just be that. What he's gonna get the boxes? Like because once you said that, we were talking about it, and I was like, I don't like the idea of just like the whole film is him getting the boxes. Remember that one point? We were like, maybe we'll do that.
Frogger. Yeah.
Once we got to the cult, the idea of it, I was like, oh, this is gonna get real wacky, and he's in this world, like his world's upside down. Like it's not like, oh, he has to beat Rush Hour to get these boxes back.
Right.
It's like, no, he's gonna go through a cult that it takes men and animals and combines them. Like it's such a cool, or not just cool, but weird side story that I loved that, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun
for sure. And you can tell that we both recently saw the new Guardians of the Galaxy.
Like, subconsciously, at one point the possum was a raccoon in the script.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe change it a little.
Okay, cool. So that's the thing. I haven't thought of this part at all.
I've got someone.
Oh shit, who would you cast?
I think it would be someone like a younger Donald Glover, who is at once like very cool, but also like can play that victim and like can be the sort of butt of the joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
love that. I love that.
I feel like he would be just compelling to watch and like could do all those things.
If we could go if we can cast where we're like, oh, a young Downey Jr. kind of thing, right? Or like a young Tom Hanks. Like if we can do that, then Donald Glover. If we have that capacity at our hands where we're like, we can cast some young versions. 100% Donald Glover.
No, I think we, since it's blue sky, we can have any era.
Like Derek Comedy, Troy from Community, young Donald Glover.
Yeah.
100%. I'm fucking down. But my thing was in today's, since he's older, the other option I had, Shamik, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Shamik Moore, the voice for Miles Morales in Spider-Verse. His voice and just how he
how do you spell?
SHAMEIK.
M-E. Oh yeah.
Like him, because in his voice in Spider-Verse, I love that voice of like, oh fuck, like just not happy with what's going on.
Yeah.
Or even let's just go with that. Yeah.
I like that. That'd be cool.
And then who'd you, if you, just one? I know we don't usually do side characters, but a Harold.
Harold.
I got someone.
You go first while
I would say a Jono cameo as Harold.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I'd love to see you play that guy.
Just fucking play the other side and be like, oh, I actually enjoy the power I feel.
But the Tropic Thunder Tom Cruise makeup on you.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I would picture someone like like a little messier and sloppier.
Giamatti?
Like Paul Giamatti, yeah.
That'd be good.
Like just someone who's like just kind of fucking like, I don't know, smoky and like weird and raspy and like kind of a sketchball, but
yeah. Like a young Nick Nolte. Okay, cool. I think that was a good cast. We got some good ideas.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we do at this part? No, right?
No, any housekeeping? Are you still in touch with your body?
Yeah. I don't know how to answer that question every time. Yep, I'm touching my body. Is that what you asked? Are you touching your body?
Yeah. I just stared at Adeel with psychotic eyes for those.
And I weirdly liked it.
Sweet.
So
well,
that.
Thanks again for joining us, and have a great rest of your day. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Bye. The Blue Sky Podcast is produced by Adeel Shamsi and Jono Hunter, edited by Justin Stevenson, and this voiceover was recorded by Kevin Brown. If you have an idea for a prompt, email us at theblueskypodcast@gmail.com or DM us at the Blue Sky Podcast on Instagram. The Blue Sky Podcast is an independent show, so please like and subscribe and tell your friends. Please.